You're standing at the gate. Your phone buzzes with a boarding alert. You step forward. The scanner beeps. The agent looks at the screen, then looks at your passport, then pauses. And then you hear a sentence no traveler ever expects. "I'm sorry, you can't fly today." Not because your ticket is invalid, not because your passport is expired, not because you did anything reckless. Your luggage is already checked, your seat is paid for, your trip has been planned for months, and still, you're denied. This is not bad luck, it's not rare, and it's not a dramatic exception. It's procedural. What's happening right now, quietly, every day, is that travelers are being stopped by systems, not people. Systems that don't negotiate, systems that don't explain, systems that don't care how far you've come or how much you've spent. In 2026, airports are no longer flexible. They are automated. Airlines are no longer making judgment calls. They are enforcing digital rules before you ever reach the gate. And the most dangerous part is this. Most of the travelers being denied boarding did nothing wrong. They just didn't know what had changed. That's why this video exists. Because if you travel even once a year, this information is no longer optional. It's the difference between boarding calmly and watching your plane leave without you. So before we go any further, take 1 second and subscribe. Not because of the channel, but because travel rules no longer give second chances. If you stay informed, you stay moving. And now, let's talk about the first rule that's quietly ending more trips than any other in 2026. Passport validity, the 6-month rule that ends trips. This is where more trips end than anywhere else, and most travelers never see it coming. Your passport can be valid and still be unacceptable. That sentence alone has cost people entire vacations. Here's why. In 2026, many countries require your passport to remain valid for at least 6 months after the day you enter, not after you leave and not after you return home, after you enter. That distinction matters more than people realize. If your passport expires too soon, airlines are legally required to deny boarding. This isn't a judgment call. It's not up to the agent. The system checks the dates, and if the math doesn't work, the answer is no. Think of it this way. Would a hotel let you check in if your reservation ends before your stay is over? Even if you've paid, even if you're standing at the front desk, even if the room is empty. Airports work the same way now. The airline isn't protecting your return. It's protecting itself from being fined for transporting someone who may not be allowed to stay long enough under the destination country's rules. And here's the part most people miss. Waiting until your passport has 6 months left is already too late. The practical rule, the one seasoned travelers actually follow, is this. If your passport has less than 9 months of validity remaining, start the renewal process immediately. That buffer protects you from processing delays, rule changes, and last-minute travel decisions. It also protects you from seasonal price surges. Passport renewals don't cost the same year-round. Demand spikes before summer travel, holiday seasons, and major international events. Renewing early isn't just safer, it's cheaper. If this section already has you mentally checking the expiration date on your passport, that's a good sign. And it's exactly why you should subscribe, because the next sections are where even experienced travelers get caught off guard.
Online passport renewal, the one good change in 2026. Now, here's the part most people don't expect. Not every change coming in 2026 makes travel harder. One of them actually makes it easier, if you know how to use it. Passport renewal is finally moving into the modern era. For many travelers, standard renewals can now be handled almost entirely online. No appointments, no sitting in waiting rooms, no stacks of paperwork spread across a kitchen table. The old system worked like this. Take time off work, stand in line, fill out forms by hand, hope nothing was missing. The new system works more like mobile banking. You submit documents digitally, you track progress online, you resolve issues without starting over. For travelers who renew early, this removes a major source of stress. But here's the important part, and this is where trust matters. This doesn't apply to everyone. First-time passport applicants still need in-person processing. Passports that expired many years ago often require additional steps. The upgrade is designed for standard renewals, people who already have a passport and are keeping it current. That's why the timing matters so much. If you wait until your passport is close to expiring, you may fall outside the simplified process and right back into the slower system. Used correctly, this change saves time, money, and anxiety. Used too late, it changes nothing. And that brings us to the next issue, one that's catching American travelers by surprise on flights that never even leave the country. Real ID and domestic flights, US. Let's talk about a problem many Americans don't think applies to them, until it does. Real ID enforcement becomes strict in February of 2026. Not gradually, not selectively, strict. And here's the issue. Millions of travelers still don't have one. For years, people have heard the same thing at airports. They don't really check. They just wave you through. It's fine. That era is over.
Real ID compliance is no longer treated as a suggestion. Security systems will flag non-compliant identification before you reach the checkpoint, especially at major hubs and connecting airports. This isn't about whether an agent recognizes you. It's about whether your ID clears a database. Now here's the practical solution most travelers overlook. A valid US passport works for domestic flights, not as a backup, as a fully accepted form of identification. Carrying your passport on domestic trips reduces the chances of secondary screening. It lowers the risk of misconnections caused by extra checks, and it protects you from fines or delays when enforcement tightens without warning. This is especially important for travelers with tight layovers, early morning departures, or flights through high-traffic airports. The goal isn't to carry more documents, it's to carry the right one. If you already use your passport for domestic flights, comment passport. It helps other travelers see what actually works before the rules catch up with them. And next, we're going to talk about the quiet requirement that's ending trips before travelers even realize they needed to apply for something at all. UK ETA, the stopover requirement you can't ignore. Even experienced travelers are being caught by this one, and it happens quietly. The UK now requires an electronic travel authorization, or ETA, for all arrivals, and that includes stopovers. Yes, even if you never leave the airport, even if your luggage stays on the plane. Here's how it works. Think of your ETA as a digital key. The airport is the door, the plane is the elevator. Without that key, nothing opens. It's not a suggestion, it's not a formality. Without it, your itinerary stops before it begins. The solution is simple, but it requires action. Apply early, don't wait until the night before your flight, and never assume that a layover is automatically allowed. The system doesn't see your intention. It only sees data attached to your passport. If the ETA isn't linked, the flight won't wait and the airline won't bend the rules. If you've ever booked flights with layovers without thinking twice, subscribe. This is exactly how people lose entire trips. Next, we'll move to Europe, where border checks are becoming precise enough to track every single day of your stay.
Europe is moving into the digital age, and the changes are more than cosmetic. Physical passport stamps are disappearing. In their place, the EU is implementing the Entry and Exit System, or EES. When you cross the border, facial scans and fingerprints are recorded. Every entry, every exit, every day you stay. Think of it like switching from an analog clock to a digital one. In the past, overstays could go unnoticed. Officials might miss a day, a week, or even longer. Not anymore. The system counts every hour, every day. There is no grace period, no excuses, no they didn't notice. Travelers who assume their previous experiences still apply are already at risk. This isn't just enforcement, it's precise tracking that rewards preparation and punishes assumptions. ETIAS, the new pre-travel authorization for Europe. On top of that, Europe is introducing ETIAS, the European Travel Information and Authorization System, expected by late 2026. ETIAS will be required for travelers who currently do not need a visa. It's processed online, before the trip, and it is linked directly to your passport. For travelers over 70, there is good news. The fee is waived. It's free, but still mandatory. This isn't a barrier. Think of it as a filter that ensures travelers arrive prepared. Those who ignore it face denied boarding before the trip even starts. The lesson is clear. Advanced preparation is now a standard part of the journey. The more time you give yourself to comply, the smoother your travel. By understanding ETIAS and EES together, you can avoid unexpected stops at the border and move confidently through Europe, knowing every system has already cleared you. Next, we'll look at a real-world example of how rules change without warning and why assuming past experience guarantees nothing can end a trip before it begins. Visa rule changes, Brazil case study. Even seasoned travelers can be caught off guard. Take Brazil, for example. In 2026, the country reinstated visa requirements for certain nationalities, including US citizens. Cruise passengers, short-term visitors, travelers who had passed through Brazil dozens of times without incident, many of them were denied entry. Some assumed that being on a cruise or only stopping for a few hours would make them exempt. It didn't. Rules don't bend for familiarity. Past experience does not equal eligibility. Just because you've entered before doesn't mean you can enter now. Imagine waiting months for a trip, tickets paid, luggage packed, and then finding out a single overlooked requirement stops you at the door. The lesson is simple. Every trip, every country, every year. Verify the rules before you travel. Don't assume past behavior guarantees future access. Someone you know is still traveling based on outdated rules. Share this video before they learn the hard way. Next, we'll move into building a modern travel checklist, the tool that ensures nothing slips through the cracks, even when rules change without notice. The Modern Travel Checklist Power Tool. By now, you've seen how small oversights can derail an entire trip. The solution isn't luck, it's preparation. The most reliable tool any traveler can carry isn't extra luggage, it's a modern travel checklist, written, not mental. Here's what it includes. Passport validity, check expiration, check buffer time. Less than 9 months, renew, don't wait.
digital authorizations, ETA for the UK, ETIAS for Europe, or any other online travel pre-approval. Apply early and link it to your passport. Required visas, even if you've been before, verify current requirements. Rules change and assumptions cost trips. Accepted domestic ID. Real ID enforcement is strict in 2026. If you don't have one, carry a valid passport to avoid delays, fines, or missed connections. Transit country rules. Even short layovers can trigger digital checks. Confirm what's required, even if you never leave the airport. Think of this checklist as part of your luggage, not something tucked away in memory, not something assumed. Written, accessible, and updated before every trip. Travelers who adopt this habit move through airports with confidence. They aren't caught by last-minute surprises. They don't negotiate with automated systems. They pass through borders calmly, knowing they've already met every requirement. Information in 2026 isn't optional. It's as essential as your boarding pass. Next, we'll look at how this approach transforms stress into control, the real VIP experience of modern travel. By now, you've seen how small details, passports, authorizations, visas, IDs, can either stop a trip or make it seamless. The difference isn't luck, it's preparation. Airports don't forgive improvisation. Every rule, every scan, every database check is exact. There is no margin for assumption. But that precision works in your favor if you plan ahead. Preparation is the real VIP experience. It's not about expensive seats or exclusive lounges. It's about walking through the terminal confident that everything is in order. No surprises, no delays, no last-minute stress. In 2026, the system rewards the informed. Travelers who understand the rules, check their documents, and apply digital authorizations early move through airports with calm and control. This is your advantage. If you want to keep traveling with confidence, not anxiety, subscribe now. Join a community of travelers who move through airports knowing everything has already been handled. Because in modern travel, control is the real destination.